We do indeed encourage the use of the internet for research and for broadening the horizons. Obviously, we don't encourage it for copying material from the internet.
The students that come to our institute are also older. Some of their
and we also have an anti-plagiarism software that can be used to detect the plagiarized work.
Through internet, I get the information.
Internet also helps me to communicate through Yahoo and Gmail, and it also helps me for recreation.
I haven't used it for other things, so to say.
Now, there are some things that I can't do as I used to do before. For example, I do a lot of mistakes when writing. My grammar, spellings.
When I'm researching on something, maybe I feel bored, so let me go to social network. And there I may even end up going like 1 hour and not even finishing my job I wanted to finish.
Research has become part and parcel of education, especially in the higher institutions of learning. It is inevitable when it comes to serious academic work. Scholars have been able to come up with concepts only after going through works written by others, otherwise known as doing literature review. This is necessary as it provides a solid base for their research work. This kind of information can be got from books, magazines, journals, among others, not forgetting the internet. The internet, since its discovery, has been mentioned as a vital tool for academic and social purposes. It has proved to be a useful tool in academics. No wonder institutions of higher learning have adopted e-resources to complement their education system. But with the rise of internet use, so is the increase in plagiarism cases. This leads us to the question, what is plagiarism?
Plagiarism is taking other people's work and pretending that it's your own, which really shows that people feel perhaps they can't do the work themselves, or they are too careless or too lazy to really acknowledge what belongs to other people and build on the work of other people. And that's what we want them to do, build on the work of other people.
According to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, to plagiarize is to copy another person's ideas, works, or words and pretend that they are your own. This obviously attracts a penalty that could actually lead to imprisonment. It is no wonder some scholars describe it as follows.
Students who plagiarize, who steal material from the internet from elsewhere.
stealing someone else's work and taking the credit for it.
As some of the students will say, internet isn't research work.
The internet is very helpful because one, I use the internet for my research work. I use the internet to connect with friends. I also connect with donors. The internet is important in terms of submission of my papers to my lecturers, wherever they may be.
It really improves my academic performance in a sense that I take little time to look for, let's say, the books that I'm assigned to read. Some of the books are online. I can easily access them and it saves my time. It also helps me to look at a lot of information within a short time.
Internet helps me to do my research when I access the resources. Internet also helps me to communicate through Yahoo and Gmail, and it also helps me for recreation. When I visit sites like Facebook and Twitter, at least I get to communicate with friends.
Getting information, quick one. You know, as we are given course outlines, for me it's good for me to go ahead of the lecture, to go ahead and research about the topic before even the lecture comes in.
There are some negative impacts because now there are some things that I can't do as I used to do before. For example, I do a lot of mistakes when writing. My grammar, spellings, because we use so much of text messages, or even when you are writing, the internet gives you ready-made, it corrects your work. So that one has an effect. And also, there is a temptation to stay in the internet for a long time when you are supposed to be doing so many other things.
Both in private and public universities, there is a consensus that internet use is important, which therefore follows that its use has not been completely ruled out.
We encourage the students very much to use the internet. In fact, we have the Moodle. So the lecturers, many lecturers are putting their assignment on Moodle. We also have the students do e-learning. They also take a computer course before they begin, and they learn how to use the internet and the other facilities that are available. So we encourage them very much.
We encourage the use of the internet in the institution. We have a number of laboratories that are connected to the internet. We have got a cyber where the students can do their research. Then we have also subscribed to a number of e-books and other e-resources that the students can use for their academic work, and they can also use it for their social activities.
The question here is not using the internet for research, but doing proper referencing.
Inadequate referencing, which is the case with some students. They don't put in the full reference of where they found things, but they're not trying to pretend it's their own work. In that case, I would just tell them, go and write the references properly. Redo the reference page for me to show where they found the material.
How then are schools able to achieve this?
And the final project, once again, I would go over with them how to format a paper correctly in an academic institution.
Through the methodology class, because I take that course, I take students through the ways that people plagiarize and what will be the consequences and the penalties of plagiarism. So that is to alert them. But I've also shown them how to check if their work is plagiarized through on the net.
Higher institutions of learning have methodology class that prepare students for their research work. It is during such courses that plagiarism is mentioned as a crime, punishable by law. The use of internet as a major reference point can pose a great challenge to a student. This is especially if he or she studies it. This is especially if he or she studies in an institution where plagiarism is discouraged. This can invite penalties, which include suspension.
Is given a disciplinary action like any other offense, and a student who violates the guidelines that we have for the use of the e-resources, the computers and everything else has to go through the disciplinary committee. And the penalties that are there could range from expulsion, suspension, retake of the unit, and even discontinuation from the university.
There, however, appears to be no clear cut to what extent an outline information is considered plagiarized. Different people could rate the percentage differently to range from between 3 to 10%.
But sometimes, of course, there is the importing of sentences and ideas which are not always acknowledged. I would think, 5% of an essay, if you didn't acknowledge where you got it from, not deliberately, but subconsciously you're importing material, I think was acceptable. But if over 5%, you're clearly importing ideas and taking material that is obviously not yours, I think that's reprehensible. We want to encourage our students to be creative. We want them to express themselves in their own language, in their own words.
More than 10% honestly is violation, because as a student one is supposed to read, comprehend and make an application so that you write, there's an originality in your own paper when you're writing, rather than just copy what is there and put there. So anything more than 10%, to me, it could be violation of internet resources. And if that 10% is not even cited or referenced, it can be a violation of the internet sources.
Since a student will be required to do at least one paper that requires proper referencing at the end of every semester, keenness is required.
Usually for every major course, there's one major written assignment. There are some shorter cats, which are shorter questions, and they will be harder to detect. But for every course, every semester, there's one major essay. And it's usually in that major essay that we find, equivalent of plagiarism, reproducing other people's ideas without putting them into inverted commas. So it's not too frequent, and it's usually towards the end of the semester.
Results of exams usually come out the following semester. This might arouse tension among students who are not sure whether they passed in their long papers. The good news, however, is that they can use the anti-plagiarism software to go through their work even before the actual submission date.
But I've just found a way of doing it on the net, that when you go through Google, you look for plagiarism check, and then you cut like a paragraph that you really feel maybe this student, these words are not coming from the student. You cut that paragraph and you paste it there. Then you say, you click check plagiarism. Then it will come out if a sentence is okay to write, okay. If it's plagiarized, it will tell you the percentage of plagiarism in that particular paragraph.
We've bought new software that detects plagiarism. We haven't put it into effect yet, but in August, all of us will be using plagiarizing detecting devices and software, so nobody will escape and no mercy will be shown.
Plagiarism, we have a plagiarism software called Plagiarism Detector that detects plagiarism over the internet and any other from any other Tangaza database, long essays and theses for the students. That's usually what we use, but with time we are going to adopt Turnitin software to work in hand with the plagiarism detector software.
An interview conducted in JKUAT, Tangaza, Nazarene and St. Paul's universities indicate that a bigger percentage of students prefer using the internet for their research work over books. Some lecturers are, however, against it. They say it promotes laziness and passiveness among students. Wikipedia has also been cited as one of the sites whose use is discouraged.
Nowadays, as the internet has so many positive points also, it can make students very lazy and do shortcuts in trying to do research instead of going through the whole process of trying to find the materials to look into books and other sources.
Negative impacts could be many if one is not disciplined. For example, those lazy ones who could not even bother to go to the library to find books on their own and read books, that internet can be a source of laziness for them in a way that they may they can finish their time of study here without knowing how to access books in the library if they know that they can get everything on the internet.
On a daily basis, students stream into their university's cyber cafe. The reasons that most of them cite include doing research and communicating with their lecturers. The move by university management to have ICT centers within the premises is also a source of relief to students. They are able to save some little money.
Currently, I don't spend anything. I try as much as possible to make use of the free internet in the school, so I don't spend anything at all.
Since the cyber may not accommodate all students at the same time, a wireless connection within the school premises does the trick. Students with personal laptops are able to do their online research with ease.
Internet is accessible all over campus, in all corners, in all classes, all libraries, in the compound, as well as even in the parking lot. And because we have wireless access points that support each other at a radius of 30 meters. And this keeps our system stable, because in case one goes down, the other one picks up.
Other people who also benefit from the internet connection are lecturers and master's students who use video conferencing.
Students have accessibility to both all social media, especially YouTube and Facebook, but due to bandwidth monitoring and bandwidth allocation, YouTube is blocked at certain times of the day during video conferencing sessions, especially the lessons with international universities such as University of Milan, Catholic University of Milan, and DePaul University in the States.
Taking an example of Tangaza College, which is a religious institution, The internet use is controlled. Pornographic and non-religious sites have been blocked. Sites which encourage heavy downloads like torrents have also been blocked. There are, however, times when some sites have been controlled through timing.
Sites that students visit as such, but we control the sites that they can visit, because there are certain sites that are permanently blocked, like pornographic sites, and heavy download sites like torrents, uTorrents, BitTorrent. All those torrent sites are all blocked for purposes of bandwidth management.
According to the college's ICT person, internet provides useful material. From subscribed journals and books, students can get useful information for their research work. The question of internet use in academic work has yielded both positive and negative outcomes, but like some students and lecturers will say, it solely depends on how an individual wants to use it.
The internet is easy to cheat. It's easy because it's a worldwide access, but we hope that there is ethics. There is an ethics of using the internet. There is a morality, and we hope that in a Christian institution like ourselves, nobody would be so devious as to steal the material and present it as their own. So I think it's under control.
The students that come to our institute are also older. Some of them are conversant with the internet, others are not. But it's a whole new world open to everyone. Even small children are able to use it. And if people are using it wisely and for the right motives, the right purpose, then it can be a great advantage. However, if people are using it for the wrong reasons, maybe it's not helping them to be a better person or not helping them to be a better moral person and live up to their values, then they certainly need guidance. And this is not just for children, this is also for adults that need to know how to use it wisely. Like anything in life, a lot of things are just in the middle there, they're neutral. And how we use them, our motivation for using them, and the outcome of using these things makes the difference.